C#, Top 10 Interview Questions by Cloud and Code. Following are the questions we are going to cover in this session. Let's get started. What are the 4 fundamental OOP principles? Inheritance. It defines a parent-child relationship between classes. Through inheritance, a child class can inherit the fields, properties, and methods of its parent class. Polymorphism. Ability of function to take multiple forms. Encapsulation, the bundling of data, variables, and methods, functions that operate on that data into a single unit or class. Abstraction, hiding the complex implementation details of a system and exposing only the necessary and relevant parts to the user. How do you implement encapsulation in C#? Use access modifiers to restrict access to the fields of a class and expose only necessary parts via properties or methods. Define private fields to ensure that they cannot be accessed directly from outside the class. Use public properties and methods to provide controlled access to these private fields. What is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation? Goal of abstraction is to reduce complexity and allow the programmer to focus on interactions at a higher level without worrying about the internal workings. Goal of encapsulation is to protect the internal state of an object and to ensure that data can only be changed in a controlled manner. Abstraction is achieved through abstract classes and interfaces in C#, and encapsulation is achieved using access modifiers and properties in C#. How does C# handle multiple inheritance? In C#, multiple inheritance is not supported for classes. However, multiple inheritance can be achieved indirectly using interfaces, where a class can implement multiple interfaces. What is a constructor? A constructor is a special method in a class that is invoked automatically when an object of that class is created. The purpose of a constructor is to ensure that an object is properly initialized before it is used. It sets the initial values for the object's properties and initializes any required resources. What is a static class, and when would you use one? A static class is a class that cannot be instantiated and can only contain static members. They are commonly used when you want to provide shared resources that can be accessed without creating an instance of the class. Declare a static class using the static keyword in front of the class keyword. Difference between the readonly and const keywords. Readonly declare constants whose values can only be assigned at the time of declaration or within a constructor. Const declare constants whose values cannot be changed after declaration. For readonly, the value of field can be assigned at runtime, typically in the constructor. For const, the value of field is evaluated at compile time. For read-only, fields can be instance level or static. Readonly fields can have different values for different instances of the type. For const, fields are by default public and static, so you access them using the type name, not an instance of the type. Difference between interface and abstract class. An abstract class is a class that cannot instantiate and serves as a base class for other classes to inherit. It can have both abstract and non-abstract members. Abstract members must be overridden by derived class. A class can only inherit one abstract class. An interface is a reference type that defines a contract that implementing class should adhere to. All members are implicitly abstract, does not have any implementation. A class can implement multiple inheritance. Difference between abstract method and virtual method. Abstract methods can only be declared in abstract classes. It does not have an implementation in the base class. Derived classes must override an abstract method. Virtual methods can be declared in any class. It can have an implementation in the base class. Derived classes may choose to override a virtual method. Explain the async and await keywords. The async and await keywords are used for asynchronous programming. Async marks a method as asynchronous, indicating that it contains asynchronous operations, applied to a method to allow the use of the await keyword within that method. Await pauses the execution of the async method until the awaited task completes. Applied to a task inside an async method, allowing the method to yield control back to the caller until the task is completed without blocking the main thread. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.